sadatmanam yogi niyata manasaha Chanting nirvana paramamat samsthamadi gacchati. Sadatmanam is an important word here. Thus, practicing constant control of the body, mind, and activities, a mystic transcendentalist is mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God by cessation of material existence. So, sadatmanam, yogi yunjita satatam. Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi niyata manasa. Yogi niyata manasaha and sadatmanam are important words here. Like I mentioned yesterday, the focus of an Ashtanga yogi is very simple. He wants to regulate the mind. Patanjali in his Yoga Sutra says the thoughts are like birds that want to fly in different directions. And the net that captures all of them in one place is the net of Pranayama. So it's a mechanical process of actually controlling the mind. So by doing so, yogi niyata manasaha. So yunjan eva sadatmanam is constantly engaged in connecting with Krishna. Constantly. So spiritual life itself means something constant. Sat. And material life means asat, something that's changing. So ask anyone their goals, what they want. It would be changing throughout the day. Throughout the day it would be changing. At least if throughout the life it changes, that's something else. But even throughout the day, whatever our goals are, keep on changing. Why do they change? Because we are reacting to problems that appear before us. And these problems are constantly changing because we have many attachments. And there are different problems that try to take away these attachments from us. And that makes us feel robbed of something. So, a lot of attachments we have. Krishna saying, Asha, Pasha, Shatihi, baddhaha. Shatihi, baddhaha. There are hundreds and hundreds of Asha and Pasha. Hopes and aspirations. Hopes and attachments. Shatihi, baddhaha. And what is our goal ultimately? Our Asha and our Pasha. And there are so many problems that are coming forth. It could be money problems, it could be professional problems, health problems, personal problems. So many things. And so our goal is that we feel, oh, if I just could repair my car, that's what I want. I want to get a new house, and if I can close this house, I'm done. I have to vacate this house. If I vacate this house, I'm done. Oh, I have to get promoted. Oh, I have to present this paper. I have to present this presentation. I have to complete this workshop. I have to raise my kid in a nice way. I have to get my son married. I have to get my daughter married. So our goals keep on changing throughout the day. What if he gets more? What if he gets less? What if I get less? So everyone in this world is afflicted by change. This is why it is called Bhavasagara. So what does spiritual life mean, essentially? Spiritual life means to catch on to the constant. Okay? If you're able to catch on to anything constant, that is spiritual life. Very simple. Sat. Sat means constant, eternal. That which does not change. That is Sat. So if you can catch hold on to something constant, that is yoga. So karma yoga means you're trying to catch hold on to, and I mean, there are different types of karma yoga, but putting it simply, you're trying to catch hold on to the understanding of selflessness and for the sake of serving the Lord. I mean, the sense of you're offering the results to the Lord. So that That must be the constant principle. There are so many types of activities I'm doing throughout the day, but what is the constant factor in all these activities? My sense of selflessness, my sense of detachment, my sense of doing everything as an act of offering, not with emphasis not on so much love, but the emphasis more on detachment, and when something is more predominantly karma mishra, karma yoga. So that's the constant factor. So in Jnana Yoga, the constant factor is we're trying to inquire throughout all our activities. I'm performing so many activities, but I'm trying to go beneath all that variety. I'm trying to understand what's the constant current underneath all that variety. That inquiry, that investigation is the constant factor that actually connects us to the Sat ultimately. And the same absolute truth is realized in many phases. We have discussed this before. And each one of these yogis, as they latch on to that constant realization of the absolute truth, they understand the different features of the absolute truth. So the Ashtanga yogi also tries to practice something constant. So whatever we do constant in our life, especially, and not just, I mean, you can't do something, so someone might say, I'll consistently go to the gym. No, you can't call that constant essentially, because while you're working out in the gym, your mind is going to different places. That's you're not trying to still weed out the your association with the variable, something that changes. So you could do something constant. You could take your dog for a walk so that you could pass stool, but still your focus is not something on that which is constant. So material activities, though it could be done as a constant habit, it cannot deliver us from the quagmire of variety, material variety. And material variety is bothersome actually. So the Upanishads focus on delivering us from the material variety, most of it, and some of it wants to fix that. I mean, the other four parts wants us to actually transport us to spiritual variety. Anyway, so the point is we have to perform a constant spiritual activity. And the more constant it is, and more activities we do constantly, the more advanced we become. Unless we are constant about it, I do sometimes 2 rounds, I do sometimes 4 rounds, I do sometimes, then forget spiritual life. We are not going anywhere. So we have to be determined, we have to become determined that this is going to be constant in my life. And for that, we might require, I mean, not we might require, we do require mercy. We might have to beg, we might have to sometimes borrow, we might sometimes have to steal mercy, whatever it is. But we have to be here. And if we are not going to be there, we are going to be bothered by the changes of this world. And you can't say change is the only constant and just mentally adjust yourself. We could say until the cows come home, change is the only thing constant, but still we will be bewildered and embarrassed by change. We don't sit well with change. That's our nature, and no one can do anything about it. So we can't sit with change. That's what Krishna says in the second chapter. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na abhavo vidyate sataha. Ubhayorapi drishto vantastu vanayoho tattvadarshibhihi. So we can't sit in this material world of change. It's not possible. So the beginning of transition from this world of change to the world of changelessness is actually the factor of what is called dharma. Dharma means I have a constant virtue system in every aspect of my life, about my marriage, about my sex, about my eating, about my sleeping, about my mating, about everything. I have a virtue system that I have learned from the self-realized person. And I am going to implement this in my life. So that virtue system becomes the constant factor for someone who actually follows dharma. And this is the bridge between the material life and spiritual life. So one cannot actually even ground himself on dharma. And I say dharma, it's like the basic dharma, the basic virtue system that the Shastra talks about. But you can't invent dharma in your own house. That's what they try to do right now. So they're all trying to do within the current situation. They're trying to invent dharma in their own house. You can't invent laws in our own house. That's not allowed. So we have to understand dharma from a superior authority and try to follow it. So, so that's the constant factor essentially. So to summarize, unless we can actually ground ourselves, I mean, I'm focusing on the word here, sadatmanam. So if you're not able to do something consistently, then we are actually going far and far from spiritual life. And the good news that we have is that uh, it doesn't have to be even engaging your intelligence or your mind or even your feeling. We can be as impersonal as we want to be. And if we simply chant the name of the Lord, have a fixed number of rounds we do, by simply doing that, gradually everything will happen out of its own accord. Because the name of the Lord doesn't require our attention for it to work. For instance, if I say Krishna, now I don't have to have feeling for Krishna to actually be appearing through his holy name. Whether I have feeling or I don't have feeling, simply by me saying the name Krishna, Krishna is going to appear. That's his mercy. It's so merciful, is it not? I'm not even calling him on purpose. I'm just calling him uh, like I don't mean anything. But still Krishna appears. That's his mercy. That's what Mahaprabhu mentions. So the good news is, like the Ashtanga Yogi, we don't have to have our attention focused. We don't have to go to a solitary place. We don't even have to have a constant factor of inquiry or investigation. Nothing. All we have to do is using our tongue in the most impersonal way. If you want to do it, also it's going to work. All we have to do is to simply chant the name. What does chanting mean? Move your lips to touch to spell the name out. And if you simply do this alone, Krishna is so kind, Krishna is so merciful that he considers this act of ours as a great form of yoga and he comes closer to us. That's his mercy. So if we could make this process of chanting Hare Krishna mantra as our constant factor in our life, if we could chant every moment, great. If we could chant at least 16 rounds every day, it's a good constant factor we could actually latch onto and offer it as a gift to Krishna on his birthday, on Janmashtami. If you're not able to do so, so if you're able to chant 16 rounds, you're already chanting 220, 225, 232, or read something, read the glories of chanting. Hmm. All the Prabhupada's purports are about chanting. So if we could actually make this the constant factor, because why should this be the constant factor? Because I can't do anything else as a constant factor. If I try to choose a certain virtue as a constant factor, I fail. If I try to choose a certain mentality as my constant factor, I fail. As a certain attitude, as a certain quality, I fail. I think, I don't know about yourself, but myself, I fail miserably. So Krishna has come as the holy name, Kali Kali Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. So all we have to do is to simply open our mouth, use our tongue, and vibrate this holy name. Simply this vibration of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare will destroy all our bad habits, will completely transform, all our past will be erased, everything will become auspicious in our life and it will become wonderfully qualified to return home, back to God in his very lifetime. This is the magic of the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. So I'll stop here. Any questions or comments are welcome. Hare Krishna.